All right, good evening, everybody. It is 6 p.m. We do have quorum. I'm going to go ahead and call this evening's meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals for the City of Florence to order. First item on this evening's agenda is approval of the minutes from the December 18th, 2025 meeting. Minutes have been submitted to members of the board in ample time to review. Are there any amendments or changes that need to be made? All right, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. The minutes are approved. Next item on this evening's agenda is BZA hearing number 2026-01, request for a variance from the rear setback requirement for a covered back porch. Location is 1908 Damon Drive, tax map number 01504-01-002. Owner of record is Danielle and Cynthia Maxwell. The applicant is Michael Paget of M. Paget Engineering and Construction. And the zoning district is NC 15. We will now hear from city staff.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I hope that everybody got a good, nice holiday break.
Yes, ma'am.
Like we did. This is my second case. I got to close last year, and I get to open this year.
That's right.
Okay, so for this case, there is a request for a variance from the rear setback for an addition to 1908 Damon Drive in the NC 15 zoning district. We can see in the vicinity map, this parcel is a corner parcel, and it's located between Damon Drive and Wimbledon Avenue. And we can see a little closer there. You can see that the lots are fairly similar, and they're all detached single family houses. This is a NC 15 district. And all the neighborhoods surrounding the parcel are NC 15 as well. The property owner is proposing to build a new back porch. They already have an existing back porch, but they're gonna close it up and turn it into a sunroom, and then build a new back porch right next to the sunroom. Right now, they do comply with the minimum rear setback, which is 30 feet in the NC 15 district. They have approximately 35 feet right now. But after they build a new back porch, they will have that reduced to approximately 18 feet from the rear property line. Like I said, the minimum setback, according to the UDO, in the NC 15 district is 30 feet. So they will be short 12 feet. So they'll need a variance of about 40% from the required setback. You can see that green square is about where the new porch is the back porch is gonna be. And you have in your packets the plans of the new back porch and the sunroom. And you also have the elevations of the new back porch. And these are some of the site pictures. As you can see, it's a corner lot, and you can also see from the side what the actual or the existing back porch looks like now, and the neighbor right behind them is the one that would be the most affected one. You also can see that there's a privacy fence around, so that will help minimize the impact that this new construction will have on the street and to the neighbor as well. The issues to be considered is the placement of the new back porch in this location will mainly impact the neighbor immediately to the east, but have little visual impact on the character of the street. The purpose of the rear setbacks is to provide space around parcels and privacy between residential properties. There will still be an 18-foot rear setback from the back property line, as well as a privacy fence. The existing pool limits the location of the back porch in this particular case. And this parcel is also smaller than the other parcels in the neighborhood, which limits the space available for additions. Because the back porch is proposed to be behind the plane of the house and the fence, its impact on the street will be minimal. The main person affected is the owner of 721 Wimbledon Avenue, which is the neighbor to the back of the property. We did receive an email from her stating that she did not mind at all that her neighbors were building the new back porch. And that concludes the staff report.
Thank you, Ms. Falcone. Are there any questions for city staff from members of the board? All right. Thank you very much. The board will now hear from the applicant, either Danielle or Cynthia Maxwell or Michael Padgett, either one. Anybody? Nope. If you don't mind, sir, please step up to the podium, state your name clearly into the microphone. I'm going to swear you in. Yes, sir.
All right.
State your name. I'm sorry.
Michael Padgett, Padgett Engineering and Construction.
All right. Do you promise that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right. Go ahead, sir.
So Dan Maxwell, who's also here in the audience, the owner, wants to build the addition on the back. You have to look, if you go back to your aerial view showing the different lots laid out,
Right.
that corner lot, all the other houses face Wimbledon. The corner lot faces Damon, so he's disadvantaged in the sense that his house is already rotated on a longer lot.
Gotcha.
So that doesn't give him the ability to build depth like the other neighbors do as well. Another thing to consider is, the NC-15 zoning district didn't go into effect probably until, 2010 or something like that, Elaine, wasn't it? 2018. So, this house was built in the 50s, like most of the stuff in the neighborhood. A lot of houses in there have setbacks, have things that are far beyond what the existing zoning regulations would require. So he's limited in the fact only that he's applying now as opposed to he didn't do it a decade ago. So again, the neighbor doesn't have a problem with it. You won't be able to see it. I mean, the fences are high on the neighbor's side and on the back. He just wants a nicer porch and a sunroom.
Thank you, sir. Are there any questions for this gentleman from members of the board? All right. Thank you. Is there anybody else who wishes to be heard either for or against this variance request? All right. There being none, the chair will now entertain a motion to either approve or deny this variance request.
I made a motion to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Singley.
Okay. All right. That a variance from the terms of the Unified Development Ordinance will not be contrary to the public interest, where owing special conditions and little enforcement of the provisions will in an individual case result in an unnecessary hardship. The placement of the new back porch in this location will mainly impact the neighbor immediately to the east, will have little visual impact on the character of the street. Upon staff, the immediate neighbor behind east of the house in question, they already say they don't have a problem. That the spirit of the Unified Development Ordinance will be observed, public safety and welfare secured, and substantial justice done. The purpose of the rear setbacks is to provide space around parcels and privacy between residential properties. There will still be 18-foot rear setback from the back property line. That there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property. The existing pool limits the location of the back porch in this particular case. That these conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity. This parcel is smaller than other parcels in the neighborhood, which limits the space available for additions. It does have a privacy fence around the back porch, which allows privacy for both the owner and the neighbors. That because of these conditions, the application of the Unified Development Ordinance to this particular property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property as follows. Adherence to the terms of the ordinance will result in the inability of the owner to add the back porch to this property. That the authorizations of a variance will not be of substantial detriment to the adjacent property or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance because the back porch is proposed to be behind the plane of the house and the fence, and its impact on the street will be minimal.
Thank you, Ms. Singley. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. All those in favor of granting the variance request, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. The variance request is approved. You guys are welcome to stick around. We have quite a few hearings today, so I'm just going to say this now. Once we decide on your case, if you want to stick around and enjoy your city government at work, go for it. If you have other things to do, please quietly leave. So thank you, guys. All right. Next item on this evening's agenda is BZA hearing number 2026-02. Let me pull that one up. Where'd it go? Request for a variance from the location, building, spacing, and rear setback for an accessory building on a residential parcel. Location is 1326 Hillside Avenue. Tax map number 90172-01-006. Owner of record is Brandis and Woody Swink. Applicants are Brandis and Woody Swink. Zoning district is NC 15. And just for the record, I do know Mr. Swink. About 5,000 years ago, he and I were sharing the halls of South Florence High School, but I don't think that'll sway anybody's opinion on this hearing whatsoever. Just trying to clear the air. Yeah, exactly. Go Bruins. All right. We're not here from city staff.
All right, good evening. This lot is on the south side of Hillside Avenue in Lazare Place, and it is built on a hill. It's zoned NC 15, which same as everything around it, and neighborhood conservation for the future land use. This is the site plan. The house is set quite back from the street, but it's because, as you'll see in a photo, it's built at the very top of a hill. And because of that, the house is pushed further back and does not meet the setback of 30 feet because of the configuration of the lot. And so because of that, the pool house, which would go to accommodate this pool, has to be in what is technically the side yard. Accessory buildings are supposed to be behind the plane of the house. This one will have to be in the side yard. But it will be behind a block and cement fence all the way around it. And again, because of the size of the building and the lot, it will be 5 feet from the rear property line, which is permitted if a building is under 10 feet tall. This one is about 14 feet tall, so it would be normally required to be 10 feet off that rear property line. I have not heard from the rear neighbor, and the applicants have assured me that the HOA has approved their proposal as well. So also it is going to be located 2.5 feet from the house and about 3.5 feet from the pool, and the code calls for 6 feet for that. Here are the site photos. As you can see, the house is up on a hill, and the one on the right, the largest one, that's what you would see from the street, which basically would be nothing. So the code that was cited is that no accessory building shall be located in the side yard. Accessory buildings, it's 10 feet for accessory buildings that are larger, taller than 10 feet in height. And accessory buildings shall be separated from principal buildings and other accessory buildings by no less than 6 feet. And for swimming pools, they're supposed to be 6 feet as well from buildings. So those are the code that they're asking for the variance from. So, again, like I said, the topography and configuration of the parcel lends themselves to, this is pretty much the only place they could put this pool house. And the intent is to preserve the character of the neighborhood by limiting visibility of accessory structures. Here, the topography does work in their favor. The size and configuration topography are unique to this particular parcel, and they are restricted in their options for locating the pool house, so that does show their hardship in that. And it will be behind a solid masonry fence, making it inconspicuous from the right of way. And again, the backdoor neighbors are the only ones who would be directly affected, and I've not heard from them. So that concludes staff's report.
Thank you very much. Just for clarification, this variance request actually encompasses 3 portions?
That's correct. Yes.
Rear setback, building spacing, and side setback.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry, not side setback,
The
setback
rear
from
setback.
a, yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
All right.
being in the side yard, the
Gotcha.
setback, and the spacing.
Okay.
I have a question. You said the HOA said they approved. Did y'all see any written approval from the
Not a
HOA?
written one, no. But the applicants are here if you want to ask them about it.
Thank you, Ms. Stingley. Are there any other questions for city staff from members of the board? All right. Thank you very much. The board will now hear from the applicant. If either of the Swinks want to step, or you, sir? Just as before, if you don't mind, sir, just state your name clearly into the microphone. I'm going to swear you in.
Louis Hopkins.
All right, Mr. Hopkins, you promise that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, Commissioners. Appreciate your time being here tonight. I'm Louis Hopkins with Hopkins Builders. I've been contacted by Mr. Swink to build this accessory building, and I've built other accessory buildings in this neighborhood. I actually live in the neighborhood, and I'm actually the chairman of the Architectural Review Board for the neighborhood.
Wow, okay.
So we've talked to some people. I think all the neighbors are fine with the building. The topography of the lot and the pre-existing location of the house and the pool limit where this pool house can go.
Right.
This neighborhood was developed in the early 80s. And so I think the guidelines that we're trying to accommodate here were much later put in place. I know the setbacks have changed because the last accessory building I built in this neighborhood was about 15 years ago, and it had like a 3-foot rear setback. So things have changed a lot since then. But other than that, the homeowner's just limited to use the space they have. It will be a good addition to the neighborhood, and it will fit in, and I think everybody will be happy. I don't think we're doing anything that's going to disrupt any of the neighbors or the consistency of the neighborhood.
Okay. You mentioned the architectural review. Is that part of the HOA, or is that just an individual?
No,
Okay.
it's an architectural review
Okay.
board for the homeowners of Lozelle.
Okay, okay. And just to back up what Ms. Singley was asking about earlier, we've run into some problems with HOAs in the past, so we want to make sure that we don't step on any toes.
Right, I understand.
I know you can't speak on behalf of the HOA,
Right.
but I didn't know the best way to ask this. I mean, there's been no written response from the HOA, just verbal saying they're okay with this.
That's correct.
Okay.
We didn't get anything in writing.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine.
So
Any-
you basically could verify that the HOA did approve.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Hopkins from members of the board?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Is there anybody else who wishes to be heard either for or against this variance request? All right. There being none, the chair will now entertain a motion to either approve or deny this variance request. And just as a clarification for members of the board, this simple variance request does encompass 3 individual parts. You don't have to list them all, but just as a reminder.
I make a motion to approve
All right. Thank you, Ms. Moses.
that a variance from the terms of the Unified Development Ordinance will not be contrary to the public interest, where owing to special conditions, a literal enforcement of the provisions will not, in an individual case, result in an unnecessary hardship. The topography and configuration of the parcel lend themselves to placement of the pool house in the side yard. That the spirit of the Unified Development Ordinance will be observed public safety and welfare secured, and substantial justice done. The intent of the ordinance is to preserve the character of the neighborhood by limiting the visibility of accessory structures from the public right-of-way. That there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property. The topography of the lot limits the location of the house as well as of the pool. The limitation does not apply to any of the other lots in the vicinity. That these conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity. The size, configuration, and topography of the lot are unique to this particular parcel. That because of these conditions, the application of the Unified Development Ordinance to this particular property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property as follows. The lack of a backyard restricts the options for locating the pool house. That the authorization of a variance will not be of substantial detriment to the adjacent property or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. The pool house is proposed to be at the top of a hill and behind a solid masonry fence, making it inconspicuous from the public right-of-way. The only people who will be directly affected are the back door neighbors, and they have not said anything, and this will be adjacent to their backyard.
Thank you, Ms. Moses. We do have a motion to approve the variance. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Singley. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The motion carries. The variance request is approved. Mr. Hopkins, Mr. Swink, Ms. Swink, you guys are welcome to stay, or you're welcome to go. And I'll speak on behalf of city staff, Mr. Swink, when I say we welcome your invitation to the grand opening of that pool house upon completion. Yes, I appreciate you. Thanks, guys. Next items on this evening's agenda is BZA hearing number 2026-03, request for a variance from the size restriction for an accessory building. Location is 1070 Rock Creek Drive, tax map number 18013-01-017. Owner of record is Scott Little. Applicant is Scott Little. Zoning district is NC 10. The board will now hear from city staff.
All right. This is another accessory structure. This is on Rock Creek Drive, which is at the back of the Old Mill subdivision. And the back of the lot does extend into the floodplain. The lot is about 300 feet deep, and that does play into this. And it is zoned NC 10, which requires an 8-foot side setback. So that is the side setback that's required for any accessory structures. This is the plat for the parcel. As you can see, because of the floodplain, he's fairly limited on where he can put the accessory building despite the size of the lot, which is about 3/4 of an acre. So he's wants to put it down on that side, along that side, but he would meet the 8-foot side setback. The main reason we're here is because it is an oversized building. A 25% of the principal building is the limit for accessory structures, but he has, I understand, a boat and a camper that he wants to put under shelter. And the other thing is that it is 17 feet tall, which is higher than usual. So it has the building and then also this lean-to section. Detached accessory buildings are not to cover an area larger than 25% of the gross floor area or 1,500 square feet. This one is about 1,620 square feet, so a little bit larger than that maximum. And accessory building shall be designed to be compatible with the principal building. It's a metal building, so it will not exactly match the house. These are some photos of the site. It is a brand new house being built there. The building will go pretty much where you're looking on the upper right photo there. And the very back of it, as I said, is in the floodplain, so there will never be any construction behind him to be affected. I have not heard from any of the neighbors, and the neighbor to the left of this house was approved for an oversized garage several years ago. So this would not be the only one in the neighborhood. So, again, without the variance, he's limited to an accessory building that would not meet his needs. The purpose of it is to prevent the construction of oversized structures, but because this lot is so large and he'll be placing it fairly far from the house and the neighbor's house, it seems that it will not dominate the neighborhood like it might if it was up closer. And there will never be any development behind this parcel, so there'll be no neighbors to be disturbed by it in the future. And these are oversized lots. The lots on the opposite side of the street are much more standard in size. So this one's a little more unique. And granting it the variance would result in a larger than normal accessory structure, but it would be minimally visible from the street as well. So that concludes staff's report.
Thank you very much. So just to clarify, the variance request covers two issues, size limit and compatibility?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Now, let me ask you, how would the way this will be placed on the property, how will the floodplain affect that existing building once it's built?
As you can see, it'll be outside of the floodplain.
Okay, and say in the next projected years, you know how the floodplain changes, will it be affected any?
That's a question for the floodplain manager.
Yeah, so yeah, floodplain maps do change. They update them every 10 years or so. This area was actually just updated and it didn't change at all. So we're at the beginning of a new cycle of that, and it didn't change at all in this area. But I mean, it is subject to change, and if that happens, then they may be required to get flood insurance or things like that, depending on their lender or various conditions. So, but it is outside of the regulated 100-year floodplain. It is within the 500-year floodplain, but we don't regulate that. That's free to build in. So.
Okay, so pretty much where it's at now, there's not too
Yeah,
much.
I mean, it's compliant as it's proposed with floodplain regulation.
All right, thank you.
If we have like storms, bad rainstorms, everything, I mean, the runoff, is that going to affect the fact that they're so far back and I see woods behind them?
Yeah, I mean, these lots were when they were parceled out, they were made to be very deep because they owned the backed up to the floodplain
Right.
there, and I think the intent was to pull things forward, to give people enough building pad to put houses and accessory structures all on, but leave all that floodplain behind them. I think the developer did a good job of making these lots deep enough that, and not backing them up into the floodplain, that it gives them plenty of room to do that. So, I mean, I think during the construction phase, they would definitely need to pay attention to any runoff or land disturbance to make sure any sediment doesn't get down into the Middle Creek there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moses. Are there any other questions for city staff from members of the board? All right. Thanks, Elaine. The board will now hear from the applicants. Mr. Scott Little. Same as before, if you don't mind, just state your name clearly into microphone, and then I'll swear you in.
Name Scott Little.
All right, Mr. Little, do you promise that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, go ahead, sir.
As Elaine was stating, the reason for the building is so I can house my camper and boat to keep it out of the weather, and so it's not just in the backyard as eyesore to my adjacent neighbors. I did talk to both neighbors, and they both agreed or said that they don't have any issue with the building being erected there. And I did have it surveyed as the plot was showing. I just had it surveyed, and they marked it where the building could be at, so I know exactly how far back I can go. And so to make sure it's not in any of the flood zone, and also there's a sewer. That one sewer line is running through the back, so we have to have, I think it was 20 feet off of that.
Okay.
So I made sure that he marked that for me as well, to make sure we're out of make sure we're not causing any issues with that.
Right. All right. Are there any questions for Mr. Little from members of the board?
I have one. Is there a reason it has to be so tall? Is it for your boat? Or?
Yes, ma'am. It's for the camper. The camper is just over 11 feet tall. So the garage doors go from 12 foot to 14 foot. So with the angle the yard goes down, like it slopes down. So my concern was at the angle and being up so close. Because originally I wanted it back as far as I could, but I can't. But as you're going down the angle with it being a 12-foot tall garage door, that the air conditioner unit on top of the camper might hit. So that's why I went with the 14-foot.
It's like a slope.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. It slopes down right behind, as my lot slopes down. So like the house is, it was there was a crawl space, but a house burnt down last December in December 2024. So we're rebuilding. So as you go down, right there where the little building, the wooden building is at, is where it starts sloping downward, and then it flattens out where the dark dirt gets at.
Do you plan on putting any kind of like cement or slab or any kind of slag or anything like that with your big camper going back
It
there?
will. My plan was to have it a pad, the metal building put on the pad.
So
a
not
cement
like
pad.
going to it.
I thought about it, but I haven't committed to it yet. I was thinking maybe that the building would be probably about 10 feet behind the little wooden building. I do plan on moving that to a different spot so I can get in and out. But the cement, I plan on putting privacy fence at the rear of the house, and then if I do any cement, it'll be from the building to probably to the privacy fence, behind the privacy fence.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. Are there any other questions for the applicant from members of the board? All right. Thank you, Mr. Little. Is there anybody else who wishes to be heard either for or against this variance request? All right. There being none, the chair will now entertain a motion to either approve or deny this variance request. And just as a reminder, this single variance request covers two issues: the maximum size limit and the compatibility of an accessory building.
Make a motion to approve.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Edwards.
That a variance from the terms of the Unified Development Ordinance will not be contrary to the public interest where owing to special conditions, a literal enforcement of the provisions will, in an individual case, result in unnecessary hardship. Without the variance, the applicant is limited to an accessory building less than half the size that he has proposed. That the spirit of the Unified Development Ordinance will be observed, public safety and welfare secured, and substantial justice done. The purpose of the size limit for the accessory building is to prevent the construction of structures that are nearly the size of the house and that dominate the rear yards in residential areas. The lot is 3/4 of an acre in area and very deep, so this building is not as out as scale as it would be on a smaller lot. That there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property. This is a narrow but deep, suitable to integrating the larger building into the built environment. There is no development behind this parcel, and there is no possibility of it in the future due to the location of the floodplain. That these conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity because of the floodplain behind this parcel and the others along this side of the Rock Creek, on this side of Rock Creek Drive. The lots are deep but varying in size. The lots on the opposite side of the street are more typical of NC-10 zoning, as well as being much more uniform in size. That because of these conditions, the application of the Uniform Development Ordinance to this particular property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property as follows. The applicant is still permitted to have an accessory building in his backyard. However, he's just limited in size at this moment. That the authorization of a variance will not be substantial detriment to the adjacent property or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by granting of the variance. Granting the variance results in a larger than normal accessory structure behind the house, which would be minimally visible from the street. It will be visible from the rear yards of the immediate adjacent properties, one of which contains an oversized garage.
All right, thank you, Mr. Edwards. We do have a motion to approve the variance request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Moses. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. The variance request is approved. Thank you, Mr. Little. Next item on this evening's agenda is BZA hearing number 2026-04. Request for a variance from the interior side setback for a storage building on a residential parcel. Location is 917 Wisteria Drive, tax map number 90066-02-001. Owner of record is Kaylee Elmore. The applicant is Kaylee Elmore. Zoning district is NC 15. The board will now hear from city staff.
This is another variance request for an accessory building. This lot is located on Wisteria Drive in an NC 15 zoning district, which is permits single-family detached houses only. As you can see, the lot has a very particular shape, which limits a lot what they can do in the backyard. This is, like I said, an NC 15 zoning district, and all the surrounding neighborhoods are the same zoning except for open space and campus, which are not residential. And then the future land use map, or the future land use is neighborhood conservation. As I was telling you before, this is a particularly shaped parcel, and the red square is where the accessory building is proposed to be located at. The property owners, when they purchased this property, there was already an accessory building, a carport, where that red square is. So they are proposing to take that down and build an accessory building instead. What they would like to do is they would like to use the concrete pad that carport is already on. So the way that carport or the concrete pad is located at, it does not meet the side interior side setback of the NC 15. The UDO states that in the NC 15 district, the setbacks for the accessory buildings are the same ones that the house has. So in this case, the interior side setback would be 10 feet. That's the requirement, but they only have approximate 6 feet from the side property line to the left, if you're looking right at the picture. So they would need a variance of approximately 4 feet, which would be 40%. This is the construction plan, and the elevations of the accessory building is just a regular accessory building that would be 378 square foot. It's 21 feet wide by 18 feet deep and 8 feet high. So it's just your traditional accessory building. And here are some of the site photos. from the street, you can not see the backyard. You won't be able to see the structure at all. I kind of try to show you the side of it to the left so you can see the neighbor, but it's really hard to see from the street. So the impact of the building itself on the street would be minimal. The only person that would be most affected would be the neighbor to the side. To the left, there would be like that neighbor in the top left corner. It is on 1104 Wentworth Drive. We did not hear from any of the neighbors that received letters, so there was no complaints of what the property owner is proposing to do. And the placement of the new storage building in this location, like I was saying, will mainly impact the neighbor immediately to the east, but have very little impact on the character of the street. The shape of the parcel, as well as the existing concrete slab, will limit the location of the storage building in this particular case. Adherence to the terms of the ordinance will result in the inability of the owner to add the storage building to her property on the existing concrete slab. The storage building will replace an existing carport already on the property. Additionally, the storage building is proposed to be behind the plane of the house, so the impact on the street would be minimal. And like I was saying, the neighborhood that's going to be mainly affected did not reach out to us at all with any concern. And that would conclude staff report.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Falcone. And just to clarify, the carport structure was torn down prior to this. Is the carport structure still there?
It's still there.
Okay, okay,
To my knowledge, it's still there, but it came with the house
okay,
when the property owners purchased it.
okay. So we're just, and we'll get more clarification from the applicant in a minute. I'm just trying to make sure, essentially, we're just trying to bring into code what is already there by the approval of a new variance. Is that essentially right?
Yeah, I think what they want to do is a completely open carport now.
Right.
And they want to replace it
Okay.
with another shed and carport combination.
I got you.
So, on the existing pad without
Okay.
having to pour new concrete and use
Sure.
the same footprint.
Yeah. I was just kind of thrown off if we actually needed a variance request or proof of something that's already there.
Yeah, it's there, but they're enclosing a portion of it, so it
Okay.
takes it from a carport to an accessory structure.
I got you.
in our
That's
code
fine.
book. So it's,
Okay.
it's actually a little bit gray area.
Right, no, that's fine. No, I just want to make sure.
So,
I mean, I'm happy to proceed. I just want to make sure. Yeah, okay.
I do want to ask, so they plan to take that off? Because isn't this detached? This is going to be a detached garage, am I correct?
Yes.
Yes. Well, it's going to be a storage building, not per se a garage, or at least
Well, carport. It's like a
that's
carport,
what it is now. It's like one of those carports that you just place.
like
you
that's
know.
already attached to the home.
No.
No.
It's not the one in the picture that you see in the
No.
pictures there.
Is that the right house I'm looking at?
That's the house. This is
No.
That's what
There's
they're
already
trying-
something there. They're just going to tear that down and put that on that existing concrete pad.
Okay, I'm
Yes,
glad it was carport of
Yeah.
the house. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not the one in the picture. That's
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She was looking at the carport in the house.
You good?
Yes, okay. Thank you.
All right. Are there any other questions for city staff from members of the board? All right. Thank you, Ms. Falco. All right. The board will now hear from the applicant, Ms. Kaylee Elmore. Is she here? All right. Is anybody else who wishes to be heard either for or against this variance request? All right. And just to make sure, Ms. Falcone, since Ms. Elmore isn't here, did she submit anything? Did she say anything? Or just other than what we have in the staff report?
To regards of what?
Like, I didn't know she said, I'm not going to make it tonight. Please tell them this.
She didn't, I emailed her yesterday reminding her of the meeting, and I never heard anything back.
Okay, that's fine. All right. Did you have another question? Oh, okay. All right, well, there be no other comments from anybody wishing to speak either for or against this variance request. The chair will now entertain a motion to either approve or deny the variance request.
I make the motion to approve it.
All right, thank you, Ms. Singley.
Okay, that a variance from the terms of the Unified Development Ordinance would not be contrary to the public interest, where owing to special conditions, the literal enforcement of the provisions will, in an individual case, result in unnecessary hardship. The placement of the new storage building in this location will mainly impact the neighbor immediately to the east, but have little visual impact on the character of the street. And the neighbor in the east, immediately of the east, did not say anything against the ordinance. That the spirit of the Unified Development Orders will be observed, public safety and welfare secured, a substantial justice done. The restrictions on accessory buildings are in place to prevent overcrowding of residential properties to the detriment of the neighboring lots. That there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property. The shape of this parcel, as well as the existing concrete slab, limit the location of the storage building in this particular case. That these conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity. This parcel is shaped irregularly compared to most other lots in the neighborhood, which restricts the area available in the rear yard. That because of these conditions, the application of the Unified Development Ordinance to this particular property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property as follows. Adherence to the terms of the ordinance will result in the inability of the owner to add a storage building to her property on the existing concrete slab. That the authorization of a variance will not be a substantial detriment to adjacent property or to the public good, and that the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of this variance. The storage building will replace an existing carport already on the property. Additionally, this storage building is proposed to be behind the plane of the house. Its impact on the street will be minimum to non-existent, and the main affected area is the owner of 1104 Wentworth Drive with no objections.
All right, thank you, Ms. Singley. We do have a motion to approve the variance request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, the variance request is approved. Next item on this evening's agenda is BZA hearing number 2026-05. Request for a variance for the setback requirement for accessory buildings. Location is 803 East National Cemetery Road, Florence National Cemetery Annex. Tax map number 90119-04-001. Owner of record is the United States Department of Veterans Affairs. The applicant is Jordan Vandermeer. The zoning district is OSR. Board will now hear from city staff.
All right, this is a little bit different for us. This is part of the National Cemetery, and they are expanding the cemetery itself. It is zoned open space and recreation, which is a designation for uses like this, outdoor recreation, things like that. But the OSR district has a setback requirement of 50 feet from any property line. So and it is, the future land use also calls for it to be parks and open space. So here are the setbacks that are required. So front, side, rear, anything is supposed to be 50 feet for the OSR, just to preserve that open space. The applicants are seeking, they're going to tear down the existing administrative building and rebuild it, and they want to have a maintenance yard next to it, and part of that maintenance yard is a sand and gravel storage bin. So these are open bins. You'll see an elevation of that in a moment. only problem is they cannot meet that 50-foot setback with where they want to locate it, because they're trying to preserve as much open space for new grave sites. And there is also some wetlands involved. It's in that hatched area in the site plan here. So the, here's the closer look at it. So this is what the building will look like. I believe it is about 1,767 square feet, but it's all wide open. But it would need to be about 9 feet off of that property line. And the only property that is affected is a undeveloped lot. It's about 7,000 square foot lot, zoned residential in the county. It's not in the city limits. And again, they are kind of restricted as to placing it here because of the wetlands. Otherwise, if they push it up, it would be adjacent to city property and wouldn't really be an issue. I have not heard from the owner of that property, and he did receive a letter, so I've not heard from him at all. So I don't think he has a problem with it. Again, they're limited as to where they can put this accessory structure because they need it to be accessible to the maintenance yard and to the administrative building, and they want to have that obviously up close rather than in the middle of the 14-acre parcel. So they would still be able to have it, they just wouldn't be able to have it in a more efficient location. So that concludes staff's report.
All right.
And there is a representative here.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Are there any questions for city staff from members of the board? You mentioned, how far off, I don't even know if this has any impact, but you mentioned the county line. Is it adjacent to this property or just to that individual
The
lot?
property this will be 9 feet off of is in the county.
Okay, that's, okay.
And it'll be about, I think, about 100 feet off of National Cemetery Road.
Gotcha. I don't mind making the county angry. I just want to make sure we can deal with that later.
Well, it's privately owned, but it's in the county.
Right, yeah.
And you said that's zone residential?
Yes.
And how much was this, are there any houses right
No,
now?
it's completely undeveloped.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions for city staff? All right. Thank you much, Shalene.
And one more thing to keep
Yep,
in mind,
sure.
it would be, because it is about 100 feet off of National Cemetery, if there was to be a house built on that property, that would be up closer towards National Cemetery, most likely, and would not really, this would be against the backyards, what it would
Okay.
end up being.
I got you.
It wouldn't be a big effect or anything like that.
No. All right. Thank you very much. The board will now hear from the applicant, Mr. Vandermeer. Okay. Okay, no problem. If you don't mind, sir, same as the others, just state your name clearly into the microphone, and I'm going to swear you in.
My name is Taqi Muhammad, Taqi, last name Muhammad.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. Do you promise that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Lane has done a great job of describing the project. I just wanted to add that one of the improvements of this project would be that the existing administrative building, which is currently located within the 50-foot front setback of East Cemetery Road, is going to be demolished with this project. As you can see here, this expansion of the cemetery will take out the building you see to the left of the site plan that you see here. So that building is going to be gone. So it's an improvement of existing conditions. And in lieu of that, we're asking for a side setback encroachment.
Gotcha. And just to clarify, and just for me, what relation are you to Mr. Vandermeer or with the project itself?
Mr. Vandermeer reports to me,
Okay.
actually reports to one of my subordinates. I'm the program manager.
So you're
And
his boss's
Vandermeer-
boss?
Correct.
I got you. Okay.
And I'm the program manager for National Cemetery Administration for our company.
Okay.
In 4 of the 5 districts of National Cemetery. So this is in the Southeast District.
Yes, sir.
I look after Southeast, Midwest,
Okay.
Pacific, and Continental districts.
Gotcha. All right. Are there any questions for Mr. Mohammed from members of the board? All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who wishes to be heard either for or against this variance request? All right. There being none, the chair will now entertain a motion to either approve or deny this variance request.
Make a motion to approve.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Edwards.
That a variance from the terms of the Unified Development Ordinance will not be contrary to the public interest where, owing to special conditions, a literal enforcement of the provisions will, in an individual case, result in an unnecessary hardship. Without the variance, the applicant is severely limited as to where accessory structures can be located within the National Cemetery. That the spirit of the Unified Development Ordinance will be observed, public safety and welfare secured, and substantial justice done. The maintenance yard in general and the material storage bin specifically will be 130 feet from the public right-of-way and located behind ornamental fencing. A chain link fence will separate the material storage bins from the rear of the adjacent undeveloped parcel. That there are extraordinary and exceptional circumstances or conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property. While this is a 13-acre parcel, the need to locate administrative building and maintenance yard near the front of the cemetery limits the options for placement of the maintenance equipment. From a practical standpoint, the presence of wetlands further restricts the availability of suitable locations. That the conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity, as the cemetery is unique to this parcel. The use as a cemetery is unique to this parcel. That because of these conditions, the application of the Unified Development Ordinance to this particular property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property as follows. The applicant is still permitted to have an accessory building at the cemetery. However, locating the maintenance yard in a less accessible site would interfere with efficient operations. That the authorization of the variance will not be of substantial detriment to the to adjacent property or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by granting of the variance. Granting the variance results in conveniently located structure which would be minimally visible from the street. The only parcel directly affected is undeveloped and has not come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. We do have a motion to approve the variance request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Singley. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. The variance request is approved. Next item on this evening's agenda is hearing number BZA-2026-06, request for a variance for the minimum lot requirements for a new parcels. Location is 608 South McQueen Street, tax map number 90075-10-014. Owner of record is Timothy Fields Norwood Jr. Applicant is Timothy Fields Norwood Jr. Zoning district is NC-6.2. Overlay district is Timrod Park Neighborhood Historic Overlay District. The board will now hear from city staff.
All right, last one of the evening. Y'all are doing great. This is in the middle of the block of South McQueen Street between West Cedar and McLeod Streets. It is a rare double parcel in the Timrod Park area, and that is zoned NC 6.2, which is a zoning designation that permits single-family detached and duplexes. The future land use is neighborhood conservation. In the NC 6.2, which was established again, as we've addressed a few times tonight, in 2018 with the Unified Development Ordinance's adoption, then that when you create a new lot in this district, it has to have a minimum of 6,000 square foot in the area and a 60-foot street frontage. Obviously, most of the houses, pretty much all of the houses in this neighborhood were built about 100 years ago in the teens, 20s, 30s. And the house that was on here, which has just been demolished, was actually built in 1930. This is a proposed plat which would subdivide that, it's 96 feet wide, street frontage, and about 400 square feet. So if they divide it exactly in half, you would have a 7,400 or 7,200 square foot lot, which is plenty for the minimum required. But the street frontage would only be about 48 feet. Not about, it would be 48 feet for each parcel. There'd be two identical parcels. As you can see, even just from this plat here, that is what the characteristic lot size is in this neighborhood. And I did go through and look at the GIS maps, and just on this block, the 600 block, the average is several were 55 feet. There was a 50, 52. There's a 45 foot on the corner, 46, 47, 50. So 48 is not out of character for this. And actually, the 96 foot wide was the one that stood out, but it had a larger house than. This is the house that was there that has recently been demolished, and that was approved by the Design Review Board as is required. So the applicant proposes to, if he can subdivide it, put two single-family houses on there. And because it is in the historic overlay district, any replacement houses do have to meet certain design standards so that they'll blend in with the existing houses. Obviously, a 100-year-old house, you can't make a brand-new house look like it, but the standards do help make it so that it will look like it at least fits in to the neighborhood. So that was the concern, that that these lots would be out of character if they were smaller, but they would really be more in character. And the zoning does permit the construction of a duplex, and if the variance was denied, he could still build a duplex and get his 2 units out of that. But that would be more out of character than single-family homes are for the neighborhood. There are some duplexes, but most of them are single-family houses that have been subdivided internally. So that concludes staff's report.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions for city staff or members of the board? So just the mention of the Timber Park neighborhood overlay district to this, they just kind of reinforce that any new construction has to comply with UDO. Okay.
That's correct, yes.
Okay. All right. So no homeowners association with Timrod?
No,
Just make sure.
Right.
just engaged neighbors.
That's fine. I like engaged neighbors. All right. Any questions from members of the board for city staff? All right. Thanks, Lee. All right. The board will now hear from the applicant, Mr. Norwood Jr. Just like everybody else, remind sir, just step up to the microphone, state your name clearly, and I will swear you in.
Fields Norwood.
All right, Mr. Norwood, do you promise that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead, sir.
So we are looking to subdivide this lot and get two 48-foot lots out of it, and working hand in hand with the city. We would like to basically improve the aesthetic of the neighborhood and bring in some new families. And, I'm happy to answer any questions or, go into any more detail if you need it, but that's just kind of the short and sweet of it.
I meant to ask this of city staff, but I guess I asked of you, have you heard from anybody, neighbors next door, across the street, anybody?
No, sir.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, we just tore the house down that was there. And obviously I'm not living there. I live
Sure.
right on the other side of Cherokee, so no, I have not.
I got you. All right. Any questions for the applicant from members of the board?
And I think they said this, but y'all are just proposing to, or you're proposing to build a single-family home on each lot?
That's correct.
Okay.
And keeping with the historical nature of the neighborhood itself.
Any other questions for the applicant from members? Okay.
These will not be rental properties, will they?
No, ma'am. That's kind of the thing. We want to get away from rental properties in this neighborhood. Whereas if we build a duplex, which we would have to do if we don't get the variance, that would absolutely be a rental. And when you rent properties, people don't take ownership and take care of them like they would if it was a single-family home.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
Any other questions for the applicant? All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is there anybody else who wishes to be heard either for or against this variance request? Oh, hold on a second.
I'd like to speak for.
Okay, yeah, just, you've already been sworn in,
Yep.
so I'm just going to carry over. Just state your name clearly into the
So
microphone.
once again, Louis Hopkins with
Yes, sir.
Hopkins Builders.
Yes, sir.
Briefly, I was approached by Mr. Norwood probably a couple months ago, and I just wanted to speak about what they approached me about. Just, they're very concerned about the character of the neighborhood. They don't want to build tract homes, don't, want to build something that fits in, that's nice, that somebody can buy in that location and have a great home, and provide 2 new homes for 2 new families in town.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You, sir, go ahead. And just as everybody before, just state your name clearly into the microphone, and I'll swear you in.
Michael Jack?
All right, Mr. Jack, do you promise that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. First, Mr. Norwood, I appreciate you wanting to give back into the community. Thank you very much. I don't know, I saw some pictures of the houses that you're looking to do. The houses that Elaine had put up there that are smaller lots, none of those houses are on a monolithic slab. And I don't know what your plan. They'll be elevated? Then I'm all for you. All for you. And like I said, that was my only concern, because all those are raised. They did sneak one in on the corner there that you walk in off the street into the house. I don't know how that, I guess it was in between approved, but raised slabs, I'm all for you. And again, thank you for pumping back into the community.
Well, that was easy. Anybody else who wishes to be heard? Okay. And ma'am, just state your name clearly into the microphone. The microphone right there? Yes, ma'am.
Your
Yes,
name?
I'm Monica, and my home is 3 houses from
Okay.
McQueen.
Wait 1 second. I got to swear you in.
Yes.
Just in
thank you.
case. The appeal from here goes to circuit court. That's why it's a quasi-legal hearing. What was your name again? I'm so sorry.
Monica.
Monica.
Lemons.
What's your last name?
LAMASTUS.
Amastis. All right. Do you promise that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I
Go ahead,
do.
ma'am. Okay.
Okay, I'll start over.
That's good.
My home is 3 houses from McQueen.
Yes, ma'am.
I love the neighborhood. I walk in the neighborhood. That house has been an eyesore for years. We have only 2 options. One, to keep it as is, build a duplex, which obviously would be rental. I'm opposed to any more rentals in our neighborhood. I did go and assess 9 different properties in the 600 block that range from 45 to 52 feet frontage. There wasn't much space in between each of them, but those houses have been there since like the 30s, some in the 40s, and it's worked. What I would hope would be, if this owner does build a house on each of the 2 lots, and I would have to be in favor of the 2 lots,
Right.
I would hope that they would be bungalows, craftsman, even faux Victorian, something in keeping with the integrity of our historical neighborhood.
Yes, ma'am.
And that they not be alike, they not be cookie cutters.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Amastis. Is there anybody else who wishes to be heard either for or against this variance request? I know y'all just worked it out, but this is a question for city staff. At this point, there are no designs to be submitted, but I
They
didn't know.
did submit several options to the Design Review Board, which did approve of them.
Okay.
They do have to meet the design standards that were just adopted last year for the overlay districts. And one of the requirements is a raised foundation. You cannot even build on a slab anymore. And there are also material and color and
Okay,
stylistic requirements as well. So we will definitely keep an eye on that.
sure, okay.
Yeah, when we adopted the new standards or had them written,
Right.
we were very concerned with Timrod Park and the residential because the old guidelines didn't have
Right.
a lot of substance to them.
Okay.
And so, and as the gentleman stated, one snuck in on us that
Right.
nobody was really pleased with. So,
Yeah, okay.
we were sure to beef those up moving forward.
I mean, this isn't going to sway the opinion of the board. I just want to make sure that with the 2 last, I guess, people speaking either for or against, if it's going to comply with the city design review, then that's fine. We're good. Okay.
We want it to.
Yes, ma'am. All right. All right, there being no other, and nobody else that wants to speak either for or against, the chair will now entertain a motion to either approve or deny the variance request. And just for the record, I do not have a personal relationship with Mr. Norwood, but we live in the same neighborhood. I live about 5 houses down from you, so I just want to put that out there. Anyway. All right, the chair will now entertain a motion. And after saying that, y'all are going to make me make the motion now, huh? Okay. All right, I would like to make a motion that we approve the variance request based on the following findings of fact, that a variance from the terms of the UDO will not be contrary to the public interest where, owing to special conditions, a literal enforcement of the provisions will in an individual case result in unnecessary hardship. The applicant desires to carve out 2 new lots of record for a double lot. Leaving the lot as it is does not prevent the use of it for a single-family residence or a duplex, but the provision of a second lot allows for needed infill development that will better much fit with the existing single-family character of the neighborhood. That the spirit of the Unified Development Ordinance will be observed, public safety and welfare secured, and substantial justice done. The intent of the lot size minimum requirement for any particular zoning district is to ensure uniformity of lot sizes throughout the neighborhood, to prevent overcrowding. Granting of the variance will not result in the development that is denser than that of the immediate vicinity because the houses have been there for more than 50 years. The existing double lot is actually out of character for the neighborhood. That there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to a particular piece of property. That this lot has enough area to meet the minimum area requirements for the district to be subdivided. It is one of only a few larger parcels in the area. That these conditions do not generally apply to other properties in the vicinity. The vast majority of lots of record in this area are less than 60 feet wide. That because of these conditions, the application of the Unified Development Ordinance to this particular property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property as follows. Application of the lot width requirements to the request would result in the inability of the landowner to subdivide his parcel to provide a second lot of record to accommodate single-family houses. He can construct a duplex on the lot as it is, which would be detrimental to the single-family character of the neighborhood. And then finally, that the authorization of a variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent property or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of this variance. The overarching character of the neighborhood is that of narrow, deep lots with narrow single-family houses. The original large house on the double lot was an anomaly in the district. So we have a motion to approve the variance request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. The motion carries. The variance request is approved. There being no other items on this evening's agenda, are there any announcements from city staff?
Nope, you made it.
All right. Thank you guys very much. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I made the motion to adjourn.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you guys very much. No, we did good. We did good.